What is up? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are inside The Sims 4 and we are going to attempt to recreate mi gato loco, YAZI Moto, my kitty. I am creating this video for a very specific reason, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share those details, so I am going to withhold that information and save it for the gallery. You can actually download my kitty, that's so weird to say, at Gen2606, and I'm excited to see what you think. Alright, so let me just tell you a little bit about my cat and his breed because he is special. All gatos are special, but he is special in the fact that he's a relatively newer breed. And by new, I mean this breed, the Savannah, was established, I believe, in the 80s at some time. Could have been a little bit later, could have been a little bit earlier. I'm not 100% sure. But they are bred by mixing the African serval with usually some sort of domestic short hair tabby, maybe even like an oriental cat of some kind. Any kind of cat that actually mimics or looks like physically a serval with a bigger build, a leaner body, that sort of a deal. They cross the two and that creates a Savannah cat, which is crazy. So they constitute as a hybrid or an exotic animal. Definitely I did a lot of research, but the first time I ever came across a Savannah cat was actually looking up I think Zeus the serval on YouTube. I came across him and I was like, oh my god, people they have like these crazy desert animal cats. And then I was like, well, I see all these comments and people are like, oh, if you want a serval, get a Savannah. They're basically the same thing. And so then I researched Savannah cats and I realized, holy crap, like A, they're really freaking expensive, and B, yeah, they really do like this. They look like the serval, which is a wild animal, but they're more domesticated, so they behave like that of a cat and that of a dog. It's very interesting. So I did a little more research further and came across that there was more to this information. Based on the genetic bloodline and how close your cat is to the African serval, that is how wild they will be. So it goes by F type, and then it goes by generation 1, so like F1, F2, F3, F4, so on and so forth. So for my cat, he is an F5. So he is 5 generations down from an African serval. And that means he is more on the domesticated side naturally, but he also does possess some of those wild intuitions. And I would definitely say that is absolutely true. He is very instinctual. He loves to hunt, he loves to chase, he loves to bury things, which is kind of odd, like he literally buries things. And he does other things that are kind of interesting, and I've never ever seen those behaviors displayed in just, you know, domesticated cats that I've had in the past. So he has a very unique personality, and with servals in general, they're desert cats, and so they sweat, right? That actually gets passed on to the Savannah. So if you have a Savannah, stick your little finger in between his paws, chances are his pads are damp, and that's just something that comes from that bloodline, which I think is really cute. And that kind of sucks because he literally tracks kitty litter all over the freaking place. They also don't really get hairballs, I've noticed. That's one of the things, but they have very weak stomachs. So I have to get them a special type of food, and we often give them cooked chicken. They can technically eat raw, I guess, but I don't attempt that. I don't want him to get sick or anything. But anyways, my gato is adopted. He came from a breeder who no longer wanted him because he could not reproduce. With him being a Generation 5 Savannah, that's very common, and unfortunately she just didn't need him anymore because he was becoming very territorial. It was extremely hard for her to place him up for adoption, but I quickly swooped him up and gave him a loving home, and 5 years down the road, he is just my king. I love him so much, except the only problem I've had is acclimating him to a larger space. He was on a farm. He loved to hang out with dogs. Like I said, that's probably where he picked up the whole burying thing. I'm not really sure. He doesn't really like a lot of people. He used to be very timid, very skittish. If anyone came over, he would never come and like look at them or check them out. He would always stay under the bed. Now, over the years, he's definitely become a little more outgoing, which is cool, and he seems to really like Crixus, which is amazing. He always checks him out, sniffs him, that sort of thing. Honest to God, though, he doesn't like Dominic. I'm gonna be real with you, my older son doesn't like him at all. Loves Juan, but to a certain extent, but obviously prefers females, which is weird, and loves me the most. Hey. But anyways, guys, I wish I could sit here and chat your ear off about my kitty, but if you want to go and download him, you may, again, at Gen2606, and thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to go and comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below with Sun and Shine, and I'll see you all next time.